Hello, this is Crypto CJ. It's Trade of the Day, Friday afternoon Zoom edition. We had a better week as Bitcoin and Ethereum have reclaimed most of the losses they had. Bitcoin's up about 2.5% today, and Ethereum's up over 5%, which is really cool because I was stuck in a long for a few days. Now I'm out in profit. So good stuff. Let's go to the charts. Okay, should be seeing my Bitcoin day charts.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, as you can see, we're up a little over 2%. Been trending up this week. We had the close on Monday at we just barely held over 28K. We've had pretty good financial news this week. The Fed raised interest rates 25 points, which was as expected. That was priced in. And there was some more economic data today. I can never remember if unemployment is good, higher unemployment is good or bad for the markets. I think it's good because it's less likely that there's going to be more inflation. So we're getting a little outside of my expertise area of expertise. But anyway, pretty good day today, especially with Ethereum. Let's look at that real quick. And we broke 2,000 briefly, then dropped again. We're at the high end of the range that I've had here for a while. I did extend it briefly, but when it dropped down, I dropped it down again. We shot up to about 2014 on a wick on a 5-minute chart, and then it fell back down. So maybe that was a large purchase and came down to earth a little bit. But pleased to see that Ethereum is challenging 2,000 again. So in Bitcoin is at 29.5. It's probably going to head towards 30K again, maybe this weekend, maybe on Monday, maybe even tonight. So love to see that 30K hold as, turn that resistance into support. Right now we have this resistance sitting here about 30,500, 400, give or take. So we need to break through that and hold that, have a couple candles, hold a couple day candles close over that 30,000 mark to create that new support. Any questions or comments or irresponsible speculations regarding the crypto markets overall before we look at Altcoin Alert?
Nope.
Nope.
I don't know if you've seen the Bitcoin chart that I posted a couple days ago. Kevin had came out one of the 2 or 3 webinars ago.
Yeah,
And had
people on
that.
this call may not know who Kevin is, so this is not geared towards carbon, but I think you're
Yeah,
talking
I
about another
realize
group
that.
that we're in. Yeah.
The point I was getting at is the uptrend on the Bitcoin that he had marked out.
Yeah, I vaguely recall, if I'm remembering correctly, you had a chart going back a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
It was on a weekly or monthly, or was it daily? I don't recall.
It's a daily chart that I had.
Okay.
It's actually 158 days. Same chart that he had brought up, but I
Yeah.
extended. What I did was I copied the chart and mirrored it and flipped it upside down and brought it out another 158 days. But right now, the next point would be if you're talking about the 31K for Bitcoin.
Well, I think we have a
Should
psychological hurdle and some resistance at around 30, a little over 30, maybe 35,
um,
30,500. But that's short term. That's not the length of time you're talking about.
No, but the area that you're talking about, I think it may hit on like the 14th, around 31.5 actually.
Okay. Today's the
I mean,
5th,
that's
so we've
just
got a
what I
few
see.
days before we do. That's looking at your longer term, big picture kind of thing. It's a little
Right.
bigger picture than I usually use since this is, more of a day trading thing. I'm really more
Mm-hmm.
interested in the recents, but there's nothing wrong with going back and looking at things like Dennis is talking about, seeing the
No,
the
it's
big
it's
big
nice
big
to be able
picture.
to look to see where you think it would go. Because right now on that trend line, it's on the bottom side of it. If it breaks above it, it's going to stay above it for probably a week or two, which I hope it does.
Well,
But
if
you never
you're
know.
on, how about this? If you're on with me on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
we can have that ready. I'll just share your screen. We'll talk about that in a little more detail.
Sure.
All right. Cool, cool, cool. Anything else on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and or the big picture before we look for some day trades? Okay. Altcoin Alert. So one of my favorite information sources. I don't make any money from sharing this, so I just like to use it. And I think most of you in this group have some connection to this. So uh, I've got it at the moment. I need to refresh. Is this mine? No, this is not my AA score sort, I don't think. Yeah, sometimes this kind of thing happens. It's got a 99.8 on MFT and showing as a zero price. That's messing with the algorithm. I looked this up and this doesn't exist anymore. I've seen this before. I think it might have turned into something else, or I don't know, maybe it went under, I don't know. But if you find something out about this, let me know. Nano, looked at this before. It's not easily accessible. T-Fuel. I don't really trade that one. I have a long time ago. So I looked at audio. I have traded this from time to time. I'm reluctant to go down this low on my AA score. I prefer 80 or above, and we're down to 76.7. But I think for our purposes today, it's close enough. And a quick review, this is telling us that Audius has a 76.7% chance to go up 3% or more in the next 48 to 72 hours. So I had that chart open. Let's go to my 5-minute Binance chart. And when I look at the 5-minute, I'm looking for usually a 1, 2, 3 dip or a 1, 2, 3 pump. I trade the market both directions, usually on a little bit of leverage. At the moment, we're not even 1% between the Bollinger Bands. This is normal. At this time on a Friday, the market's, despite having some nice movements today, overall, it's still kind of low volume. So sometimes some of these altcoins don't do that much on a Friday afternoon. It's Saturday morning and Saturday afternoon in Asia and other parts of the world. So that's normal on a Friday afternoon. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. Well, actually, let's look at a price alert option here. We've got short-term support here at about 28.2 cents. And again, here, you see multiple touches here. Actually, let's bring this up, do a little bit of review. I'll use my horizontal line. You can see there's multiple touches on this line, right about 27.74 cents. So that could be a good place to put a price alert. And you can leave this line on if you want to use these type of lines. I'm gonna get rid of it for now. And then put my price alert, right click, add alert, probably round it to 0.277. And a score purchase, when you use an alert name several times, TradingView will remember it and give it to you in a drop-down menu. If it doesn't do that, you just type it in, AA score, whatever you want to call it. I like to use information sources for my alert names. And you're good to go. When it hits that, I'll actually make sure your notification's correct. I was working with some auto trading stuff earlier. So if I were going to set this alert, I have to change this. I've had times where I've forgotten this. And it was sending the alert to nowhere. So I like to notify in my app, show pop up on my computer, and play a sound. And for price alerts, divergence, things like that. And the other one I like is SuperTrend, which we're going to look at in a moment. I use 3 notes reverb. And then for 1, 2, 3 dips, I use the chirpy. That's just what I'm doing now. It doesn't really matter, but I do like to break up the sounds. And click create. And you are good to go on your price alert. But as you know, I prefer indicator alerts on the 15-minute chart.
Hey CJ, do you prefer using the candle line versus just a straight line?
Candle line versus the straight line. I'm not quite
for
following
the
that.
for the price of the coin? You know how you can go up and you can adjust to where it's just a line. Like you use candles.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I know what you're saying. Adam's talking about this. You can use bars. But to answer your question, no, I don't care for bars. I like candles. I have dabbled with Heikin-Ashi candles before. That's something for another time to discuss. But yes, I like candles.
And you can just use that line, and it just gives you a straight line. But I don't know what candles do. Candles just give you like the actual jump, or how does that?
I think I just like it visually better.
Okay.
But I do think there's a little bit more information in a candle. I can't recall exactly how it's different. I studied candles in detail, but that was 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago in 2020. Or was it 19? Yeah, it's 2020. So, and the teacher of that course, which is available free on YouTube. Oh, my friend Connie would know who that is. Steven somebody, I think, talks about the candles quite a bit and what they mean. Yeah, there's probably some value in going through that at some point, but I'm not sure if I want to do it today.
I don't think the bars have the wicks, do they?
I'm not sure what they call it. Yeah, you might be right. That's just hard to see, I think.
It's hard to see. I like the bars. I mean the candles rather.
Yeah.
Candles myself, for sure.
And I know what wicks mean, and I know what these patterns mean, and so it's just, yeah, it's candles for me. Might be too old to learn something new, unless if someone convinced me that bars or some other form of representation of price was better, I'd certainly consider it, but I have not heard that argument yet.
Well, the candles and the bars confuse me because I don't know what they mean exactly. So I always just select line. So it gives me a straight thin line.
Okay. Well, like I said, I spent many, many hours going through candle instructions, so yeah, I've done that. You haven't. If you want to,
Yeah.
email me later and I'll track it down for you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, where were we? 15-minute, and let's look at our divergence. And I think I made a discovery on this. I'd like to use a non-repaint, but this one, it was not alert friendly. But I think I think what this means, and this just looked like gobbledygook to me, but I just noticed this 8+ regular bullish divergence found. So I think what this means is this is 1+, 2+, 3+, 4+, and I wish they'd put it there. That would make more sense. But I'm going to tinker with this next week and get a more potentially get a more precise reading on divergence. For now, I'm going to stick with what I've talked about for the past few months, which is this one here, which is divergence from any indicators version 4. And you can find that here. Type in divergence on your indicators and you can download that version 4. The downside of this is it repaints. But if you know that and you use this other one, the non-repaint, for confirmation, using them together, I've had some success with this strategy. So what happens is every morning I go through Altcoin Alert and some other sources as well. Choose usually 6 coins to follow. That's been my sweet spot lately. And then I go through Divergence, SuperTrend, and the RSI that we're going to talk about in a minute, and see which one of those works the best in the most recent past, last couple days. So at the moment, and I'm going to trade audio both directions, most likely. Though to be candid, I don't do a lot of trading on the weekends. I tend to leave my alerts on Friday nights. If I'm not busy, I might make a trade. I usually do a short or two on Friday. But if you're trading spot, then you're not going to do shorts. You're just going to do longs. That's okay. Look at your bullish divergence, and the three that have triggered in the last day and a half or so have done pretty well. You know, if you're on leverage, you probably take a 1% move on the chart. A 10x leverage is a 10% trade. We love 10% trades. But if you're on spot, you're probably looking for a little more, like a 3% move, 2 to 3%. In this scenario, you get a move 0.7% or so in your direction, then it drops. I've been ladder buying at 2% moves with a 10% exit, and that's worked out pretty well for me in the past 2 weeks. So in this, had I taken this long, it would have gone against me. My ladder buy would have triggered at 2%, and then I probably would have gotten out maybe about here at a 1% loss on my first position, but a 3% profit on my second for an overall profit. Or I would have gotten out about here, you know, where my first position breaks even and my second position does really well. And then I've got videos on how to do ladder buying. I did those in 2021. You might want to look those up if you're not familiar with it. And on the short side, hasn't done very well recently. We have been trending up today, so that's not a surprise. You know, this one just went sideways. It did drop here, almost a percent. I'd probably still be in that trade. Would have picked up one, maybe two ladder buys, and I'd probably still be in it. So I'm not thrilled with what I'm seeing on divergence. On the super trend, if you want to trade with the trend is your friend. Then the bullish ones have done really well. Got this one for Wednesday late morning that did really well. If you're looking for around 2 or 3%, obviously you'd have gotten that easily on the long side. And on this one, probably pick up a ladder buy around here, and then you get out here. If you don't, then you probably get out about here. On the shorts, this one did well. This one you'd probably still be in. And then alerts on this are really easy. Right click, alert on SuperTrend. Goes to the buy first. If you're trading spot, that's the one you use. Once per bar close, and we're still on AA score purchase. I like to trade both directions. So direction change, that'll every time the alert triggers, whether it's a sell or a buy, you'll get an alert. And then if you're just looking to short this weekend, click on the sell option. And once per bar close, leaves it on until you turn it off. Okay, that's the super trend, kind of leaning towards that. And then on the RSI, I'm looking for the RSI to enter into a channel roughly 70 on the top side. It's usually a sign of being overbought, or 30 on the bottom side. That's usually a sign of being oversold. So you can see when it pumped up here on Wednesday, when it came down, it went below the 70. That's a really nice short opportunity here. You probably would have gotten in. Yeah, let me get my vertical line and illustrate a little better. So our cross hits right about here, and as you can see, it goes down nicely, and it gets you in before that sell alert on the super trend. Then we have a cross on the bottom side, right about here, which is a little too soon. So this one would have been a fake out at first. Probably would have gotten in right about here. Drops a couple percent. So for me, that would have been a ladder buy. I probably would have been out here, break even on my first, and then, nice 2% move at 10x leverage on my second. And then a better entry would have been, there's a couple of crosses here. There's another one here, and that's a little bit better entry. We get pretty close on the top side here. It doesn't go all the way up to 70. It goes up to about 68. And it comes back down. So that would have been a pretty good move as well. Again, you get in before that sell alert goes on the, and it's a 1.5%. And again, at 10x leverage, that's going to be a really good day trade. And you have another drop here. And you get in right about here. And it does go against us at first. I'll probably pick up another ladder buy, and then I'm out right about here. So then these entries are actually better than that first one. That's a better entry. And this third one's doesn't go all the way up to 70. That kicks in at about 67. So how do we do our alerts on these? Well, the basic ones like this, add an alert on RSI. If you're just looking for it to dip below that 30 value and go up, like on a spot trade, crossing up 30 once per bar. And again, that's going to be your AA score purchase. If you want to trade both directions, then what I like to do is enter a channel, 70, 30. So every time the RSI goes above the 70, dips back below, where you have a retrace, that alert will go off. And the same thing when it dips below that 30 and comes back up, you get that alert. Once per bar will keep it on all day. But as I showed you before, some of these values didn't go all the way up to 70. So you might want to use a 68 value or a 67 as your top value. AA score purchase. And make sure I've got the right alert. I think I'll go with my chirpy. And there we go. So if it goes up and dips below, I'll hear that alert and I can evaluate it. Same thing on the bottom. So, all right. So that's the divergence, super trend, RSI 1, 2, 3 dip approach. Any questions on that? Okay, that took a little, I'm going to go through the next ones pretty quickly. We're already at 25 minutes, so let's see what else we can find on Altcoin Alert. That was our AA score sort. Going to reload. And let's look at social activity. Looking for fire or thumbs up on both social activity and trading activity. UMA and metal. I was looking at one of these earlier. They didn't have much of volume. Looking for something I actually trade once in a while. It wasn't funny. All right, social activity fire, trading activity poop. I do trade near sometimes. Woo. Got normal here. That's not what I want. Pancake, no. Tomo I was looking at. This is the one. It's up almost 10% today. This is an older project. I'm surprised to see it move like this. I've got thumbs up on both social activity and trading activity. And I've got that chart here, so let's check it out. Okay, on the 5-minute chart, it's looking squeezy. Yeah, we're pretty close to support already at 95.4 cents. So I don't really like that as a price alert. Got some support here, 93.5 cents. That might be an option. Again here at about 91.38. And again down here just above 90 cents. Those are potential price options if you don't want to deal with indicators, but I want to deal with indicators. So let's go to the 15-minute chart. Turn these off. Sort of old markings. On divergence, all of our bullish divergences are going to be looking good because we were trending up today. So if any of these bearish ones are doing well, then they're flagging and sort of letting us know that they're going to drop and retrace before they go up again. That's a good move. Go at 1.6%. This one I ladder buy and then get out here. So these look, the first two look pretty good. This one looks good. That one looks good, but no confirmation. And this one also doesn't have any confirmation with my non-repaint. This one triggers kind of late on the non-repaint version. Yeah, and that would have been a good one too. So I'm gonna test this. I'm gonna go with 2 or more bullish divergences. We'll see if that actually triggers. It gives me a crossing though. I think that's what I didn't like about it. It gives me crossing, that tells me it's not working. Let's try. Yeah, okay. Here's what, well, it's crossing again. I'm gonna leave this here. We'll see if it works. I'll let you know if it does. And this was social activity sort. With two or more. Okay, but on the version 4 that we like, right click here. You can go with negative or positive. You have to do one for each. I'm going to do a negative on here. So I'm going to have 2 divergence alerts going. And there we go. Okay, so that's divergence. Super trend. It hasn't triggered much. You only have 3 triggers on this in the last, 2.5 days. That's why I don't like. That's why super trend is not the first one I usually look at. But divergence, you tend to get more trades. I like more trades. Obviously, the buys have done well recently. The sell did not. So if you're using super trend, you might want to stay with the buy. And on our RSI, this one shot above and then came down nicely. Let's get my vertical line. So that happened here. That would have been a really good short. Happened again over here. And again, a pretty good short. Yeah, down 2%. Love that. Happens again here. And you'd probably still be in this one. So not loving this one. Yeah, that might have been stopped out of this one. So it's another cross here. That would have been a nice move. And this probably would have been a pretty good one as well, maybe with one ladder buy. Yeah. But yeah, this move here is not good. That'll ruin your day. Okay, any questions on Tomo? Okay, let's do one more. We did social activity, 1 hour projected range. I kind of like Looking for usually like 2 or 3% here in the middle. We almost have it with Bluezell. These others I don't really trade, so I'm going to pass on this one for now. Then we have the long-term sentiment sort. A couple years ago in Altcoin Alert, they were saying that this was doing extremely well. That might have been before the bear market. So it's part of my arsenal, and I like to match up long-term sentiment, which is a comparison of the Twitter data with the Elder Impulse Daily, which is a couple different indicators put together. So I've got sentiment plus technicals. If they match up bullish and bullish, I want to look at those some more. And you can sort either one of them. I usually use the one that has the fewest amount in it. Uma's there again, has both of them. Badger, Orion, these aren't ones I trade. Yeah, I couldn't find one. Let's look at Orion. Do I have Uma up? I forgot I was looking at this. This is in Coinbase, so yeah, it is here. Let's look at Uma. It's up 40% today, which might be a deal breaker, might be already played out, but anyway, here we are on the 5-minute chart. It's looking squeezy now, but we got almost 6% between the bands, so there is room to move. We like that. On the 15-minute chart, yeah, it just goes mostly sideways, and this big pump started yesterday morning, and yeah, up over 50%. I assume there's some news article with this, but TradingView used to be better about making their news available. Now it seems to be hidden. Okay, let's look at this like anything else. Divergence. Yeah, some of the bearish ones were hammered. Well, maybe not as bad as I think. That's weird. That's showing, it's triggering on a green candle. They're supposed to trigger on the confirmation candle, so I probably wouldn't have taken that one because it's not triggering on a red candle. You can see the rest of these all trigger on candles of the same color that they're indicating. This one, yeah, that would have worked. So all these look good despite the pump up, except this one here. Let's say you do get in on this. Yeah, you're probably stopped out 10%. But if you don't have the 10% stop loss like I do on shorts, then it eventually comes back. Otherwise, shorts look pretty good on this one. Let's see what SuperTrend tells us. Not much. Hasn't triggered since Wednesday night. That's not good. So yeah, I'm gonna do bearish divergence on this one. Test this non-repaint. Non-repaint 1. And that was Elder Impulse, I believe. See if that works. And if you're not sure if your alert's going to actually fire off, you want to check it, you can go to your list of alerts here. Click here, this gear to edit. And I'm not sure if my notifications are right, but they are. So well, actually, I don't usually use Chirpy on this one. I use 3 notes. Okay, we've ruled out SuperTrend for now. Let's look at RSI. My vertical line. We have multiple crosses here. And yeah, eventually all those would have been caught up in here. So I'm not even going to bother with the crosses that are below the 30. or essentially our bullish crosses. We've got a cross here on the upside. We can see we got a nice move down from there. Got another cross here. And again, a nice move down there. And this one I think is the same one we talked about earlier. Don't know, you might be stuck in this one. That might have gone badly. And that also goes for this one here. It does dip a little bit. That might have gotten you out with 1%. This one here does really well. Nice move down there. So yeah, if you want to do an RSI as a short, this will be our short of the weekend on UMA. You know what? I don't even know if this trades on I'm on Coinbase as it is. I think this is on Bybit. I mean, a big Binance as well, but I'm not sure if it's shortable. So, but the principles are the same. You just may need to use a different coin if you want to short something like this. And it is available on an exchange that you trade. Go with your cross down and your 70, which is the overbought area. And I think that was Elder Impulse. And that lets you know your information source. And once per bar close, you're ready to go. Okay, any questions? Okay. Okay, any questions on day trading charts, things like that before I sign off? Well, you guys have a good weekend. If you're watching on the recording, I appreciate that. Hope to see you live next time. Please check out the opportunities in the pinned comment. And I would usually do a carbon Zoom after this, but we've got a lab Zoom coming up in 20 minutes, so I'm not going to compete with that. Let you guys go. Hopefully we'll see you on Monday. Thanks. Bye.
Thanks, CJ.
Have a good weekend.
You too.